Science interviews for school. Grandma.
My house on Dorchester. And it was a studio living room.
Louder.
And there was a balcony around. And the bedrooms all ran off of this center balcony. And we had a shower and a stall shower, like a big stall shower in one bathroom. And the other bathroom was a regular tub with a thing over it. And I lived there until about 1944 or 5.
1945? 45.
Did you like the house?
And then we moved up to Eaton Road.
Moving
And
to
that was while I was going to college.
Walla College?
They moved up to Eaton Road.
Okay. Okay, what's your earliest memory of the town?
Well, I was born in Cleveland, so it's something I've known all my life. I never knew any place else.
Okay. What about world affairs?
Well, you wanting something, it's kind of comical. The thing I remember about World War II is when my brother went down to the board, whatever the board was that they had to examine you, and I was sitting in it. This was on Dorchester, and I was sitting in a big chair in my mother's bedroom, and my brother called to say he'd been accepted or was 1A or whatever. They were going to take him in that afternoon, and my foot under, and I was so enthralled listening to what was going on in front of me that I sprained my ankle getting out of the chair to listen on the extension in Grandma's bedroom.
How old were you then?
I wasn't in college yet. I was still in high school. No, I wasn't even in high school.
Junior high?
I was junior high.
Junior high?
How old were you, Grandma?
In 1943, I was
18.
About 17 years old.
In junior high?
Yeah, high school. I'm sorry.
High school. Okay, what about your family? What's your earliest memory of your family?
Well, I remember the holidays.
Holidays?
And they would come to, like we do now, you know, one night at one house and one night at another house. And Uncle Morris would always get hungry during the Seders, and he could never wait. They went through the whole thing in those days. My Uncle Abe and Grandpa later would go through the whole, you know, all the prayers and everything. And Uncle Morris would say, "Can't you make it? Cut it off. I'm hungry, you know." And we used to have to sit till everybody went through it. All the rigmarole.
So you have to wait till the holiday was
Yes, no, till the holiday, not till the
service
whole
was over.
book was over. And then something else that Dick told you last year. Everybody would come to our house, and every Sunday we'd have dinner at our house, you know, at Grandma's house. And my mother would make dairy, tuna salad. They don't want milk.
Did you keep kosher?
No, because Grandma had help, and help never were able to keep one or the other. You know, they'd mix. So she was smart enough to realize that it was stupid to try to think you could, because you couldn't. Because the help would, she always had, when I was little, it was foreign help. Used to have these girls from, I don't know, Poland or wherever. And then later on when they got black help, and again, nobody paid attention to what was
The kosher dairy and meat.
Dairy and meat.
Okay, what are your most vivid memories of childhood? Is that the holidays? Would that be?
I think the holidays, or the family coming to our house, as I start saying, on Sunday night for dinner. And the children would, the grown-ups would sit talking in the living room after dinner, you know, and
Yeah.
we would go upstairs and play games on the floor.
What about Jerusalem?
Yeah, we're going to Jerusalem, and I'm going to take a baseball. And Jordan would say, I'm going to Jerusalem, I'm going to take a baseball and a football. I am going to Jerusalem, and I am going to take a baseball, football, and
Josiah.
and a mitt.
Okay.
And on and on and on. And we used to sit and play for hours. We had another one. I don't know if we told you. Don't can too fast. And we would play a game. Try to think about you're an ox, you're an elephant, you're a bunny, you're a
Cheeseburger.
all the animals, and we'd see who could go longest naming different animals.
Okay. Tell a few stories about yourself when you were young. For example, a funny incident or an accident, how you learned something, likes or dislikes.
Well, when I was young, my mother always let me have special menus. If I didn't like what she made, she'd always broil me something. I think it's funny now because not so much later did I learn to eat, you know, all kinds of things. Oh, and Friday night to come home to my house, and I would bring home my friends, and on every surface in the kitchen, Grandma would have sticky buns and open plum kuchens and all kinds of goodies. Friday she'd bake all day, and on every surface, the stove surface and the tables and the side serving was all with all these wonderful things that she had made. She made all kinds of wonderful things. She was a fabulous cook.
Okay. Do you remember any accidents when you were young? Any funny accidents?
Yeah, I remember the gardeners had left a pitchfork like or something by the door, and I was running in, and the thing Grandma didn't drive, so Grandpa had to come home. This thing went into my knee, this metal dirty thing.
Okay, Josiah, cut. So you were saying the gardeners left a rake?
Yeah, and the rake went into my knee. I still have a scar.
The rake went into your knee?
Oh, and I went out with Grandma. Grandpa was going to go out with Grandma to visit Uncle Morris in the service. And Grandpa decided no, he didn't want to go.
Great grandpa.
Huh?
Yeah.
Great grandpa.
Great Grandpa. Grandpa Joe. You didn't know him.
No.
And so Grandma had the tickets already. We were going on the City of Denver or whatever. One of those special. It was a very nice train. We had a compartment, you know, and then you would go eat meals in the dining car, and it was like a maybe 2-night trip, and we had a compartment. I think I had an upper and Grandma had a lower, or 2 lowers. I don't remember. I think it was the City of Denver, and so Grandpa took us. Grandma said she would take me, and I went out to Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Cheyenne, S.
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
Wyoming. WYO.
Okay.
And we were out there for about 3 weeks while Uncle Morris was finishing basic training.
Were a lot of families out there then?
Well, we were pretty far. It was far from Cleveland to Cheyenne. A lot of them came from the ensuing, you know, the area.
Yeah.
But we stayed at the hotel. I showed it to Grandpa a couple years ago, the hotel and the town. And we met the family that had been wonderful to us.
You saw them again?
We saw them when Grandpa and I were in Denver. We drove to Cheyenne.
How far away was it?
It's about an hour and a half from Denver. It's Cheyenne. It's a real little western town. And these were, at that time, they were merchants. And when we came back, they spent a whole day showing us the town. And for me, it was a real memory trip because, you know, I hadn't been there since maybe 42, 41, and this was already probably 89 maybe.
Yeah. Okay. What was your relationships with your brothers and sisters when you were young?
Well, actually, you know, because there was a great deal of difference, my brother and sister were bland. They were much more agreeable. If you tell them to do something, they do it. But I am the fighter, and if I didn't want to do it, I would fight it. I would say, I'm not going to, this is Hunter's grandma. I would fight it. I would say, no, I'm not going to do it. You got to do this, you got to do that. And I didn't do that. I was the obnoxious one. But you have to understand that there was a great deal of difference. So it was like almost a generation difference between me and my brothers and sister. My brother and sister.
Your brother and sisters.
No, I only had one sister because
yeah.
I never knew the other one.
She died when you were...
She died 9 days before I was born. Or 7 days. 7 days. No, I think she died the 29th and I was born on the 4 days? Maybe the 20th. I don't know, Jordan. I don't remember really. But less than a week in between her death and my birth.
So that was hard on the family.
It was very hard on the family. And I understand that my mother's, your grandma, your great-grandma's father took care of me after, because Grandma was very
What was his
mature.
name?
Her name was Estelle, and she died of peritonitis.
What was your great-grandfather's name?
Joe.
What was
Your
his last name?
great-grandfather was
What
Joe.
was your grandfather's name? Who took care of you?
No, Grandpa Gusman.
Grandpa
That's Grandma Anna's father
took care of
was
you?
supposed to taking care of me when I was little.
And who died?
My sister Estelle died before I
Estelle?
was born. She died of peritonitis. I'll spell it for you later. It's busted appendix. Now they give them antibiotic.
And she would have lived, yeah.
And they're fine. But at that time, Grandma Anna's brother was interning at Mount Sinai Hospital. And he says now, as he read over the reports before they sealed them, that it was that peritonitis, which is an inflamed busted appendix. Now it's nothing. Now they give them, I don't know, antibiotics and they're fine in a day.
Okay, what relatives do you remember best?
Well, we were close to Grandma Anna's family, my aunts and the children. There were 6 of us that were within about a 6-year span of age. See, my own brother and sister were older, and the other Grandpa Later's family were more spread out. But I was closer to Dick, you know, the rabbi, and his little brother Jay, who's now a psychiatrist in Chicago, the Southmans, the 3 Southman girls from Vegas, or now live in Vegas, and so there was.
So Aunt Sarah too?
Aunt Sarah is the 3 girls in Vegas who's
Yeah.
still living.
Yeah, she's Grandma Anna's
Younger
sister.
sister.
Younger sister.
Yeah, she is 92 or 93 now, and has more zing and more
Zap.
brain power than all of us together. Whatever I have, I must have good genes.
And you remember family gatherings with them like on Sunday?
Oh God, yes.
Everyone would come to your mom's house?
Yeah, they used to, because our house was the biggest house. Like Dick told you, we
Yes.
were the richest.
For that time it was.
Yeah, and everybody come to our house, and we always, and my mother would always have all kinds. She'd bake, and she was the most fabulous cook.
Yeah, she always cooked a lot.
Oh, enough
Like
for
a-
an army.
Yeah.
I mean, they never knew to make, you know, like you have 6 people or whatever. You never knew who Grandpa later had a habit of asking friends, oh, come home with me tonight.
Yeah, like that blind man that came home and they kept.
Yeah, he'd always bring people home.
Yeah.
And she always would just put we always ate in the dining room.
Yeah.
Funny? And she would always just put another place and serve. I mean, there was never,
It was
she never worried that she didn't have enough food.
No, and you got that, you inherited that gene.
Oh, yes, I did, didn't I? And your mother did too. We can always, well, you know, when you eat at my house, you can carry home food for a week. That's true, you know.
What were family customs on like the weekend Were there special customs on the weekend?
You know, because I was the youngest, I was the only one home. So I went with Grandma and Grandpa wherever they went on Saturday night when I was little. And usually they went to one of Grandpa Joe's family's house. And we'd go visiting.
So you'd go with them like they go to someone's house?
Yeah, and when I was really little, I would sleep on the sofa. My Aunt Lily, she made the most wonderful carrot cookies I have ever in my life tasted. I can still taste them when I think about it. Oh, they were absolutely wonderful.
Okay, so you remember that type of thing.
Yeah. See, in those days, they didn't get sitters. And even though she had live-in help, Grandma and Grandpa would take me along with them.
Do you remember a family custom for like the summer? Did you do a special thing for the summer?
Well, Grandpa traveled on the road, so usually he would take us with him. Or if he had, in those days, he used to have a convention every year at Cedar Point. Cedar Point at one time was very nice. It really was. And they'd have we'd go to all over the country, like Texas or Las Vegas. The drug association would meet in Cedar Point for like 4 days. And we would go to the or if he was traveling, we would travel. We would go with him, a couple weeks not a couple weeks, like a week, and then we'd come home maybe
a week. Yeah. You remember your father's store and stuff? You remember being there?
Grandpa never had a store per se. He had a wholesale house.
Wholesale
drug
house?
sundries. Like hot water bottles and that kind of stuff.
In bulk type
the
thing?
druggists.
Oh, so he was like would people come to him then also?
Well, he went on the road, but he also had Cleveland customers who would call and say, I need whatever they need.
Yeah. Okay, so
then later on, when he went into toys, again, it wasn't a retail operation. It was wholesale. He never sold retail.
Never?
Never.
Okay.
He had his building from about 46 on was at the corner of West 9th and St. Clair. West 9th and, was it St. Clair, Philly?
What?
Where was the dad's building? West 9th and what?
Superior.
Oh, Superior.
St. Clair.
St. Clair, well, I was right. Was across from Ricketts and Robbins.
What historical event happened during your life that has most significantly affected your life? What's most significantly affected your life?
I don't know. What was the most significant thing in my life? I don't know. The fact that my sister died before I was born kind of affected everybody,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you would...
How old was she?
She was 14 and a half.
She was 14, so she was like my age.
Right.
No, she was getting ready to be confirmed. She died in November, and she'd have been confirmed the next June, May, whatever.
May. So that's because
I think that affected the way I was brought up. I was a spoiled brat.
No.
What Betty wanted, Betty got. Like the song Lola?
Yeah.
It's Betty. I'm Lola.
But like the whole family was in shock at that time period?
They must have been. I
yeah,
don't
you
know.
don't remember,
How would I know?
But do people talk about it or?
Yes. And then my Aunt Sarah had a child 3 days before I was born. So Melvin, who's in Las Vegas, now,
Mm-hmm.
she was just 3 days older than I was.
So the whole family
So everybody, we stayed, they were very close.
Yeah.
They were extremely close to the Gusman family.
They were because they all came to Cleveland. Where did they come from?
New York.
Yeah.
And Uncle Morris, not your Uncle Morris, my great Uncle Morris, Gusman, the one that gave University of Miami their hall and the city of Miami their concert hall. He was very philanthropic, but he came to Cleveland after Grandma Anna had a sister who came here from Russia and was in medical school in Russia. She came here and she died of
TB?
Huh?
TB?
No, diphtheria.
Diphtheria?
Or
Okay.
some contagious disease. And so Uncle Morris came here to be with the family, and
And where'd they come from? Russia? Where in Russia?
they came from Russia. But my oldest uncle, Irving and Morris, had drugstores in New York.
Yeah, but what city in Russia? Do you
Voronovka.
Veronica?
Well, I don't know. You spell it phonically. We've never been able to go
Find
to
it?
the museum to check it out. We've done it for Grandpa's family, never come up with a straight.
Here? No. What two things in your life are you especially proud of?
Marrying your father. I mean, your grandfather.
Was
I'm
Grandpa
still in love with him.
was Grandpa Joe also from Veronica?
No, Grandpa Joe was from Odessa. And we were in Odessa 2 years ago. 2.5 years ago. It was very exciting. That was one of the very few cities in Russia where, can I say this? Where Jews were allowed to study. It was a learning center for the Jewish population of Russia. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. How many brothers and sisters did Grandpa Joe have? Do you remember?
He had 2 sisters, and there were, he had 2 brothers in him.
2 brothers. And how many did?
No, I think he lost a sister maybe in Russia years ago. But
Years back. 2 sisters that came to the United States.
Yeah.
And how many did Grandma Anna have? How many brothers and sisters?
Grandma Anna had 2 sisters and 3 brothers. She had an older brother, and then she came next. And she had a sister, Clara, who Aunt Clara is named after, who died. What did
2 sisters?
Aunt Clara die from?
The flu.
No, it was either diphtheria or something
Something.
red.
I don't know.
Yeah, something.
They're all
contagious.
dying of the flu. I don't know.
Okay, and so she had 2 sisters and
She had 2 living sisters.
2 living sisters.
The other one was
So
going to
3
medical school in Russia. Very bright girl.
And how many brothers?
3.
3 brothers. So there were
There
4
were
girls,
6.
6
Oh,
girls.
3. Because
Did it-
1 died, so there were 6 living.
Yeah, 6 living before.
And
that.
the only one that's left now is the one in Las Vegas.
So was
whose
the
name
oldest
is-
and the youngest
Yes,
4
sir.
left
No.
before Grandma Anna? And
No.
What order is
No,
Aunt
her
Sarah?
youngest died. The rabbi's mother died before. She had a brain.
Tumor or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Aunt Sarah's what in the order?
Pardon me?
What number is Aunt Sarah in the order?
Morris, Grandma. I think Irving, and then Aunt Sarah. She was the 4th.
She was
3rd or 4th.
34. Do you remember? You remember the house on Eden Road and all that stuff?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that was a good
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah, you were there. When did you get married? What year?
1954.
Married 1954. And you got married at Grandma Anna's house?
No, we got married. We eloped because Grandma Gusman had died.
Grandma Gusman died?
Yeah, Grandma Anna's mother. And so we eloped. Then Daddy's sister, Aunt Rose and Aunt Helen all said, "Oh, I should be married in Cleveland with the rabbi." So Rabbi Abigail Silver married us at Grandma's house.
Rabbi Silver married you?
Yes, Abba Silver. You know, the rabbi that just died, his father.
Okay, so 2 June. And that was at Grandma Anna's house? Okay. Josiah, would you stop a second?
Yes.
Right, and was that your first trip to Israel? this? That was your first trip?
No. We were in Israel before we went with them, weren't we, Philly? We were in this is 68?
Yeah.
No.
We were
We were in
62.
Israel in 62.
So it was still,
Dad,
it was
Grandpa
early.
and I went on a ship around the Mediterranean, and they landed in Haifa, Jaffa.
Jaffa?
Haifa.
No,
Haifa?
Haifa. And then we spent 4 days in Israel, and again joined the ship, went back to Venice.
It's blinking? Okay, stop it.
Yeah, that was when we went with everybody.
That's when everyone went?
I mean,
Yeah.
all 3 children, yeah.
Or we are going in the there you guys aren't going in the Dead Sea.
Yeah. And we're planting trees here.
That was early on they planted trees back they planted trees since.
Yeah.
Here yeah, and there's that's the tour guide.
And Mary's well. Oh, that was our guide then.
That was your guide. There's my
I don't
mom.
even remember him anymore.
It's flip.
Oh, this
Okay.
is Mother at camp.
Yeah, you visited her a lot.
What did?
Did you go and visit her?
Yes, they had over 8 weeks. You go every 2 weeks you could go.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because there are pictures of Grandpa
Yeah.
there. But you
We'd
take
go on Sunday, and we'd take them out we would take the girls out, and we would have lunch at Unionville Tavern, or I'd take a picnic lunch out, and oh my God.
and they were the mom and dad. They dated all through high school. They dated through high school.
They met in dancing school. And the funniest thing, I would sit in the corner while Mother went to dancing school. At that time, they already were meeting at the Masonic Temple on Lee Road and Mayfield's. And I would sit in the corner and I would be hysterical. And Mother would be so embarrassed. But she didn't realize that even though there was a long expanse of time between her and me, we did the same thing. We would count heads of boys so that we didn't, oh my gosh.
Your mom in high school?
Yes.
College.
No, this was college. This was
No, that's college too. It's Barclay. That's 75. It's the year they got married.
But she started going with your daddy in the 9th grade. He was already in the 10th grade.
Okay. And then
That was taken when Uncle Morris came home from the service. He just graduated
Josiah,
from...
can you come so we can all see? So we can see the pictures? Yeah.
And Aunt Claire and I had the same dress.
You have the same dress
Hers
on?
was
Stuff?
black and mine was brown with blue yoke.
It's not clear.
Uncle Morris had just
Go
come
back.
out of
No,
OCS.
this where it's clear. Okay, he just came out of OCS.
Uncle Morris had come home from OCS, Officer Candidate School.
And that was Grandpa Joe.
Grandpa and Grandma Anna.
And that was
No, it was just a fake flower. In those days, they used to wear silk flowers.
no, I know, but that was for their anniversary.
I think so.
Okay, Josiah.
We had a photographer come to the house.
It was guys all got nicely dressed. And then there you are.
Me! That was my house in Wisconsin when I went to college.
Do you want this tour?
Where'd you go to college, Grandma?
Huh?
Where'd you go to college?
Yeah, where'd you-
University of Wisconsin.
University of Wisconsin.
And Wade, he used to be the photographer. He was downtown in the Terminal Tower.
And then there's Grandpa Joe.
Yes. And Grandma Anna.
And do you know where that is? Where it's taken or no? It doesn't say.
I think that was at Aunt Claire's house on a holiday. We went to Aunt Claire's for dinner on a holiday.
It was
But
during.
that was one of the early ski suits. You could not walk from your house, from your dorm,
Jordan the Bears
to the, and if you did not cover your legs from the house that I lived in to the classes, your legs would be black and blue. You had to wear something long and covered. It was bitter cold.
And then there you are,
Yeah, that was out of college already.
Grandma Anna.
That's Grandma Anna, yeah.
And is that you?
That's me at about, I don't know, maybe 3.5, 4. And my grandma used to dress me in these. She used to have, somebody made these smock dresses with the hand smocking, you know.
Yeah. Then there.
That was at Grossinger's, yes.
Where's Grossinger's? In upstate?
It's in upstate New York. It was a resort. And Grandma Anna became very friendly with Jenny Grossinger. They were this contemporaries, you know,
Yeah.
same age.
And then there you are in college.
Yeah, this is in college, and this was after college.
You look like Aunt Esty there. You do.
But this is your mother!
It's my mom.
Uh-huh.
Different ages.
Is she darling?
Mm-hmm.
And that was my wedding.
That's your wedding, and that's
At Grandma
in Egypt.
Anna's.
And then that's the same painting you have at your house now.
Yeah, that painting. That's a museum quality piece.
There you are with. What color? It was a white dress.
No, my dress was pale blue, and Claire's was pale pink, and Grandma's, I think, was electric blue. Oh my gosh! Mommy was a little mummy to brother and sister.
Look how cute and Aunt Esty was.
Yeah.
Change. Wait, I want to show you something. Talking about like different qualities and stuff. Tell me who that looks like. Does that look like Josh? Doesn't Uncle Robert look like Josh?
Well,
No, it doesn't he?
yes, he does.
If you cover him, look at that. Doesn't that look like a Josh?
Oh, he got one of the, what do you call those things?
Turbans.
That the, no, with the the things that they wrap their head in, the Arabs.
Turban. Same. No.
No.
Same face. Oh.
Yeah, same face thing.
Wait, there's a better picture here where you can see it. There.
Oh, yes.
Doesn't that look like Josh?
Uh-huh. I don't know who this little boy was. Probably selling souvenirs or something.
That looks. It looks just like Uncle Robert's son, Joshua. See, and then we go back.
Oh, look at him here.
Hey, there he is. Doesn't that look like? If you cover the hair, doesn't that look like Josh?
Yeah, well, Josh is blonde. And,
Yeah, Uncle Robert's son.
Oh, my God, this is Aunt Ethel.
That's it,
Uncle
Uncle.
Max, but that's a very good picture of him. He really didn't look like that. He was the world's ugliest man.
Okay, so there's Grandpa. Did your father make Aunt Ethel's dress for that?
No, I don't think so.
No? He made your outfit though, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he made, Grandpa at Aunt Ethel's was 5 years old, and he wore a Lord Fauntleroy outfit, you know, little velvet pants.
Grandpa, do you remember that outfit? No.
I remember we had a picture of it. I don't know if someone has it.
I don't know. This is
I don't
Aunt
know.
Ethel, Aunt Helen.
That's Aunt Helen?
Yes.
And how old would you say she was there?
Oh, yes, it's home, yeah. I don't know, how old was she there, Phil?
Who?
Maybe 18, 20?
Where?
Helen.
What was it? I don't know.
It's a picture of your sister, and there's a picture of your other sister. That she has.
That's Ethel's wedding dress. She gave it to Dory when she was moving to Myers Towers.
Oh.
She asked Dory, and this is Uncle Bill. I have the same picture.
Yeah, doesn't that the nose and stuff? It looks like Hunter. It's Hunter's nose.
A little bit.
No, it is Hunter's nose.
But he was the greatest guy, the most fantastic. Grandpa's brother, who had the most fantastic mathematical mind you have ever encountered. Who is this?
It's Dora.
Oh, the Garfields.
And there you are. Who are
Yeah.
you with?
She was from Chicago, and she knew this man. I think he was an attorney in New York. We went to New York, and he took us out.
That was in '46, so that was just
That
after the
says
war.
46.
That was the year I got dated on it.
Oh, that's Harold Scott. That's Aunt Clara's accountant.
Still?
Still.
And then, do you know who these two are?
I don't know who they are. I know they. Yeah, he was an accountant also. They both went to Sweetbay. This is Jimmy and Johnny.
Who are Uncle Morris's sons?
Yes. And there's Robert. No, now see, Joshy doesn't look like that now.
No,
Because
he
the
looked
nose, Robert's nose is much finer than Joshy's.
now, yeah. But in that other picture, it wasn't.
Right, but here you can see.
And there's my mom. There's Esty. Doesn't that look like Hayden? If you cover,
Yes, yes.
it's Hayden.
That's funny. And that's
Same
Uncle Robert and his bar
characteristics.
mitzvah.
That does not look. It looks like. That looks like more like Joshy.
Yes, there he does.
There he does. And then there's Josiah and different things. And me. And that's it.
Oh, these are fabulous. Absolutely.
Do you have more pictures at your house like this?
Yeah, and not that in a box. I have lots more.
None more.
But
None more.
they're in a box.
None more. Yeah, they're in a, well, sometimes we'll have
Some
to,
of them are in albums by Grandpa's bed, in that where
Yeah.
there's got like wire in front of
Yeah.
the cabinet next to his bed. There's all the pictures we used to take. Your mother, we used to take them all the time. Grandpa had a Polaroid, and we were constantly taking. Every time she took a breath, we take pictures.
and so you have pictures of like way back when, like your mother and all that?
No, we have pictures when Mother was born.
Mm-hmm, when my mother was born and stuff?
Your mother, when she was the most gorgeous, fine little featured child I've ever in my life seen. Gorgeous features, beautiful, perfect, you know, like chiseled, like somebody made a perfect face. Tiny, was very little. And Grandpa went to see a customer, the Marmersteins, and he comes home and he raves. Danny was a little bit, maybe a month younger or a month older, one way or the other, to your mother. But it was very funny because Danny was a big, fat baby. Well, we used to call her Aunt Ruthie. She'd throw up oranges, and when she'd come around to Danny, she'd stuff the food in his mouth. And he was this gorgeous, fat little baby. And your mother was, out of the diapers, it looked like two little sticks. Two little, like matchsticks for legs. No legs, you know, no fat, cute little dimples, legs. Hers were two little steckler. And Grandpa came home and he raved about this Danny. Oh, he's beautiful. Not that he was pretty, but he was what you like to see a baby, you know, nice little round with dimpled little legs. And your mother was, we tried to dress her so that you couldn't see it, but she was so skinny. If I tell you she wasn't thin, she was skinny, like just two little sticks out of the diapers.
And when did Grandpa sell his warehouse? Grandpa Joe? What year did he?
He was always in the drug business, honey. Drug sundries. I can't. He sold legal liquor during the 30s.
So how did he do that?
Pardon me?
How did he do that? What was legal liquor?
He sold for a distillery on the road, the Glenmore. And he covered like about 4 states. And they sold to doctors. You know, we're not, at that time, you could not sell liquor like.
Liquor today.
No.
It was the
No, there wasn't
prohibition.
stores.
It was the
You got it
prohibition.
medicinal or, you know, that way.
Yeah.
And then from that he went in handling drugstores and doctors. He went into sundries. They, I really don't know how, but he did that. I gotta go. It's 8:30.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't bore you
No,
all.
okay, Josiah.
I did
cut.
read your side, cut.